Hello there, this is Christina Beckham. This is my basketball lesson plan for day 2 for 6th grade. The Bloom Taxonomy learning domains. The psychomotor, the students will be able to demonstrate defensive stance, pivot, and have an introduction to different ways to pass the basketball to a target with accuracy. Cognitive, the students will be able to review and repeat safety cues from the previous class. Students will be able to recite the cues for the defensive stance, pivoting in the defensive stance with and without a ball, and passing to a wall and to a partner. Effective, students will be able to display proper behavior and interaction with fellow students. Students will work with a partner and learn skills together. Students will learn team building exercises. For the NASB standards, the physically literate individual demonstrates competency in a variety of motor skills and movement patterns by how to effectively use the defensive stance, pivot while holding a basketball, pass the basketball to a wall, then transferring the skill to a partner. The physically literate individual applies knowledge of concepts, principles, strategies, and tactics related to the movement and performance in basketball. The physically literate individual demonstrates the knowledge and skills to achieve and maintain a health-enhancing level of physical activity and fitness. The physically literate individual exhibits responsible, personal, and social behavior that respects self and others. The physically literate individual recognizes the value of physical activity for health and enjoyment, challenge, and self-expression, and/or social interaction. My teacher objectives: keep class moving throughout the lesson without social interruption to keep the students engaged. Limit the use of passive feedback and use more corrective feedback. Limit the use of unprofessional wording towards the students. For example, using the wording "guys." Interacting with 60% or higher of the students during the lesson and use the students' names. My instructional objective: students will demonstrate how to properly stand in the defensive stance and pivot with their dominant and non-dominant foot. Students will learn how to properly hold the ball and pass it to a wall and then a partner using the chest and bounce pass. The equipment that's needed is a radio for warm-ups and practice drills, a clipboard, whistle, basketballs, poly spots, walls of the gym or walls of a building outside of the gym. Basketball courts, outside and inside of the gym, students in assigned PE clothes or loaners, sneakers, or closed-toed shoes. For the introductory activity, I will take attendance, school announcements will be told, reminders for what is to come up in class. Warm up on the blacktop or gym starting on the baseline of the court. The students will do arm circles while skipping back, front and back. Lounge walks, leg kicks, slow to fast run to half court. For the lesson focus, I will review safety and my rules. Keep a distance when the ball is being passed. Be aware of surroundings. No horseplay. Be encouraging to others and respectful. Students will stop whatever activity they are doing once the whistle is blown 3 times and return to numbers or lines they were placed in by the teacher. For defensive stance, the head is over the waist, back is straight, arms above the shoulders, elbows flexed, arms close to the body, a wide base, even on balls of the feet. Feet are staggered more than shoulder width apart, the knees are flexed. The students in their lines will sidestep in the stance back and forth. Pivot, front turns and reverse. Students are in a balanced stance, weight on the balls of the pivot foot, chest leads, back leads, forward step, backward step onto the other foot. For the pivot drill with the teacher, they will pivot in defensive stance. Pivot in a circle with quarter turns forward and backwards on both feet with the whistle. For passing, for the chest, find the target to pass, balance, step in the direction of the pass, extend knees, back and arms, force wrists and fingers through ball, release the ball off first and second fingers, follow through with the arms extended, palms down and fingers pointing to the target. The cues are chest, step, push, thumbs down, arms extended. For the bounce, Everything is about the same except for the students are to aim 2/3 of the distance to the target, pass and step and pass in the direction of the pass. And the cues for this one are as follows: chest, step, push down, thumbs down, arms extended. Drills for both the chest and the bounce pass are to start on a wall, then transfer to a partner. Music will be on for both of the drills, and a whistle will be used in order for them to come back for instruction. For the fitness component, we will be playing Catch 5. I will explain the goal of the activity is to practice passing and catching while working with the teammates. Students will be placed into teams of 2 by me. They must complete 5 successful passes without the team intercepting or knocking the ball away to earn a point. Passes are to be counted aloud. On the 5th pass, the player puts the ball on the ground and scores a point. If the ball goes out of bounds, the ball goes to the other team. Same goes for fouls and if the team knocks the ball away. For the closing activity, I will call the class to bring the equipment back to the equipment room or to the basket I have on the side. Sit on their assigned numbers or on the shaded side of the building or in the center of the court in the gym. They will do cool down stretches. I will review the cues of the lesson for the defensive stance, pivot, and passing. And then I will preview the next class that's coming up, which would be dribbling and shooting. Here is my diagram for my teaching area for where my students will start, where I will take attendance and do my introductory activity. Here is where they will be doing their defensive stance and their pivot drills. Here is my diagram for where they will be doing both passing drills for the chest and bounce pass. And then they will go to the partner on their right to do their passing. Here are my starting positions for the Catch 5 activity. Yellow is one team, blue is the other.
Hi, good afternoon. So for today's lesson, we are going to be looking at how to hold the defensive stance, how to pivot, and how to pass the ball with using the chest pass and the bounce pass. So what you're going to need for today's lesson would be, we're going to need our clipboard, we're going to need some poly spots, a whistle, and of course we're going to need a basketball. For my introductory activity, I would be having my kids come out onto their numbers and be taking attendance, giving them the announcements for the day, go through our lesson. So for my warm-up, I'm going to have them do arm circles while skipping from baseline to half court. Then they'd go backwards, skipping backwards with their arm circles. Then they're going to do walks with lunges, keeping it nice and straight. Then we're going to do their zombie walks, leg kicks, walks. Try to get their blood pumping a little bit while doing those things. So we're going to do our cardio as well. They're going to go from a slow to a fast run and then come back. So for our first lesson of the day, since this is our second day of basketball for our unit, we're going over the defensive stance. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have our feet shoulder width apart and our knees bent. We're going to lean forward with our back just a little bit. Our head is going to be looking forward and our elbows are going to be closer to our body. We're going to make sure that we've got our fingers aligned on the ball. But of course, first off, my kids are not going to be having the ball in their hand yet, okay? But I'm just showing with the ball. So we're going to have it this way. Our thumbs are down, and then when we go to do any passing, of course, our arms are going to extend and our thumbs are going to be down. As for our first activity that we're going to be doing with our stance, as my kids are in their lines, they're going to have a poly spot of where they're at so that they know where to be. But for right now, I'm going to use this line. We're going to do some side steps while holding our defensive stance here. And they're going to look like little crabs going off to the side, going back to the other side, kind of getting a feel of how it is when we're doing some defense with our defensive stance. We're going to do our pivot and on which foot we're going to reverse. We're going to pivot with. Okay, so we're going to either step forward, we're going to step back. But for our drill, for our pivot, we're going to be doing it in quarter turns. So the students, when I blow my whistle, every time I blow my whistle, they're going to take a step and do the pivot. And we're going to go around in a full circle. So if I go whistle, step, whistle, step, whistle, step. Or we're going to do it the opposite way with the reversal. Staying in our stance, and we go whistle, they go back, whistle, they go back, to start all over again. The next drill that we're going to do in this lesson is the chest pass. So the first thing that my students are going to do, they're going to have a ball in their hand at this point, after we did our pivot drill, with the ball in hand. So for this part, they're going to start by using a wall. Either I have a wall of the gym building, or if I've got a chain link fence like I got right now, this is what they're going to use. Then, after they've gotten a little bit comfortable with just passing at the wall, they're going to use a partner. And they're going to use the partner in my diagram to their right. Okay, so here are my cues for my kids when they go to do this. You're going to be in the defensive stance. They're going to go chest, step, push. When they go to push, they need to make sure that they've got their palms down and their arms are extended out. Okay, so it's going to go like this. Here, I'm at chest, I step, I push, and my thumbs are down and my arms are extended. After my kids are done doing the chest pass, we're going to start working on the bound pass. So they're going to do it again using a wall, but then they're going to go and use a partner again. It's a little bit easier when you do it with a partner because then you have that visual. But still, again, they've got the same cues, but instead they're going to be pushing down 2/3 of the way. Okay, so this is what it would look like when they go to do it. They're in their defensive stance, elbows are down, they're going to step, they're going to push down, and then it's going to go up. Same thing applies here from the first time with the same cues. So we're going step, chest, step, push, thumbs are down, arms are extended. What the students are going to do for this lesson is catch 5. The goal here is to help them practice their passing to each other. So first off, I will put them into 2 teams and they will go on to different poly spots like I have out here. And they're going to be passing continuously and trying to get successfully 5 points. As soon as they get the 5 passes, they get 1 point. And when they do that, they're going to put the ball on the ground and it's going to be counted. Every time that there is a point that is said, it needs to be said aloud so that I understand who got the point.